These agencies are being looked at carefully right now, as you know. Just this morning in Texas, we are seeing the National Weather Service issue another flash flood warning for that very same part of central Texas, Kerrville. In fact, the ground search for victims had to be halted because of this warning. There's been so much scrutiny of what went wrong or what more could have been done. In your view, at the federal level, is the National Weather Service doing everything it should be doing?
You mean at this moment?
Yes, did it function as intended?
Well, I think what's happening here, and we need to take a pause. Glad the president and first lady went, and definitely there's a lot of things being said. But what the real question is what can we do to improve the weather forecasting of this nation, to use science, to use better assets, to really do a once-in-a-lifetime investment to upgrade the system so that we could have given people in Kerrville more time, more warning, and the same for tornadoes and hurricanes and fires. And so I think what we're learning is that in this last week, we've had 4 events that have all broken huge records for weather and precipitation. That means more flooding. So we know now we're having more extreme weather. What is our response to that? To make sure we never have another Kerrville again.
So more extreme weather, more stresses on the system. At the same time, you have the Trump administration at least proposing that they're going to do a 27% budget cut to NOAA. The Commerce Secretary, though, said he's not going to touch public forecasting. We've seen, though, on the Democratic side, Leader Schumer say there should be an investigation about whether staff cuts, for example, led to or contributed to the Texas disaster. Are Democrats being too quick here to blame the politics?
You know, I liked I liked your opening story about the GAO report and saw what my colleagues presented. You know, I was on that call the day the president was shot and You're talking
about Butler.
In Butler, and I basically asked the question on the call that day: did you guys use drones? There was like dead silence. So I'm glad now that GAO, a respected arm of our organization and government, is producing a report. Do you want the same kind of report a year from now? Yes. What we want is to make sure that we understand what happened, but doing blame gaming isn't going to bring people back. But the press has every right to ask hard questions to try to figure out what do we need to do to improve weather forecasting.
Well, I ask that because the DNC and Democratic leaders have said things like this. You're talking in substantial, specific policy language. Yes. That's not what's coming from leadership. That's why I'm asking you.
Well, what's important to know is that in this particular storm, what we had is very warm surface conditions in the Gulf. That meant the storm was going to move slower. It meant it was going to drop more precipitation. We as a nation shouldn't be second to Europe or anybody in being a weather-ready nation. We should be the smartest government in the world using technology, analyzing the data, and putting a forecast system into place that gives people that kind of system. So just recently in the Midwest, that work by NOAA and the weather forecasting system and the labs helped give information about how to get out of the way of a tornado 2 hours in advance, not 15 minutes or 13 minutes, but 2 hours. And I'm going to send a letter to the president making 5 recommendations, and some of them are very bipartisan recommendations, things that Senator Cruz or Wicker or Moran support, that basically make this once-in-a-lifetime investment so we have the best information, the best analysis, the best people to interpret that on the ground for the local responders. And let's help Americans get out of the way of a storm.
So on that point, in your recommendations, we are still seeing a proposed budget cut. We are still seeing staff cuts. And the administration is talking about privatizing parts of NOAA.
Yep.
Can you do all of that and then accomplish the outcome you're asking for?
Well, I think that's what we're going to try to draw attention to. Senator Cruz and I both support upgrading our Doppler radar system. That is, having a system that gives you more information about what the storm is likely to do. It's one of the reasons why Europe is a little ahead of us, and you hear about their forecasting system, is because they do more analytics around data that give them higher predictability. I think we're in the same place. Let's get the best system in the country. Senator Wicker and I support these ocean buoys. Those buoys tell you the temperature of the ocean. Why was that so important in this case? Because you needed to know that temperature tells you how much that storm might move or hold in a pattern and how much precipitation it might move forward and dump in a community.
And you believe this has to happen at the federal level. It's not a state-led response in that way, or forecasting rather.
Well, this is a national responsibility, and I think of, if you want your snow shoveled, yeah, you want the mayor to show up, but if you want accurate weather information, it's not community to community, it's a national system, and we share that with the local people and help them best respond. And today, my state has a reg